Hi everyone, Alexa here with the blog theduvallhomestead.com, where I like to share about farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living from our homestead here in Duvall. And today I'm going to share with you how we built our chicken coop. This video has been a long time coming because we built this coop a little over a year ago when we first got chickens, and I've been wanting to share it because every time I share a photo of it on my Instagram feed or Facebook, someone always says, "I love that coop, where'd you get it, how'd you build it?" And I even had someone today, someone who just messaged me, Candace from Happy Valley Farm, and she was looking for plans for a small coop for her chickens that she wants to get in her yard, and so it is the perfect time to share this. So we got our chickens by surprise. We actually moved to a farming community a couple years ago, and a lot of people here have chickens, and so we thought we would love to get some chickens as well. But we didn't really know what to do. We actually found the chickens in a parking lot and then just took them home without having a coop. So this coop was built really fast, and luckily we had some woodworking skills and ability to make it because I basically took care of the chickens in our garage for a few days before we got this coop set up. But it is really not too hard to build a chicken coop, and that's what I want to share with you today. You do need to know a few things that are really important when you're thinking about building a chicken coop. It's not like most animal shelters where you just need a roof or something. There are quite a few things that chickens do need if you aren't familiar with that. Really, the most important thing you want when you're building a chicken coop is to protect your chickens. Raccoons, coyotes, cougars, owls, so many animals can destruct a flimsy chicken coop, so it is important that you have a nice one. So we got the plans for this chicken coop on Etsy from a guy who wrote the plans, and he is selling them, and he has been very generous to offer a discount to anyone who is looking to build their own chicken coop and need some plans. I will leave the link in the description below this video to get that discount and where we got these plans from. You can use code DUVALLSALE for $2 off your own chicken coop plans. Over on the blog, I'll be sharing more details about what you need to consider when you build a chicken coop and some other ideas for how we changed the plans, what we did for our yard. So make sure you head over to the DuvallHomestead.com and read that after you watch this video. So for this chicken coop, you will need 2x4s. So it's a really simple wood project. We did use cedar because that is the best in the all-weather circumstances. You don't want the wood to be rotting. We used shiplap for decoration on the front of the coop. We used plywood for the roofing and also laid down a metal sheet. This helps for when it snows and rains and we need to make sure that we get a lot of drainage off the top of the coop. The roof is slanted on the coop, and that is really to allow your chickens to roost in the middle of the coop, which is where they just sit or sleep up on a high bar. And I'll talk about that more in a second. But the slanting roof is really important because the top is actually open, so you don't want to enclose your chickens tightly because you want really good ventilation. We also used basic chicken wire for the front window and for the chicken run, and again, this allows good ventilation without being too vulnerable to predators. For the final touches, we used simple sliding locks to fasten the front door from Home Depot, and we painted the whole thing a nice farmhouse white. All of the details for the construction are in the plans that I will link below. So changes that we made to the plans. The plans were really easy to follow, and we really liked the coop, what we were looking for just a couple backyard chickens. But what did not work for us was the size of the inside and having a roost bar up high. The chickens that we got happen to be very big. They're about 10 pounds, and so that breed just doesn't have enough room to fly to the top of the roost. So if you have a lighter, more flightier chicken, that might be different. But we actually moved the roost bar down lower, and that way they can just step on it, they don't have to fly. So that is one change that we made. We also added the shiplap like I talked about. I don't know if that was in the original plans or not, but we just kind of wanted it to look pretty for decoration. We painted it, and we added the metal roofing. That may also have been in the plans, but I can't remember if my husband just decided to go get that at the last minute or not. I definitely recommend it for if you have a climate that's rainy and snowy, you really want your wood to be protected. Oh, the other thing that we added is a little stand for water. So you'll learn if you just are new to chicken keeping that chickens are really messy eaters and drinkers. They'll knock water over, they'll knock food over. So I said we need to have some kind of stand to put the food and water on so that they can't knock it over. So we just made a little piece of wood in the corner, and my husband just screwed that in. and that was a really nice addition to these plans to hold a water cup. So my favorite parts about this chicken coop are that it is aesthetically pleasing. So we have a small backyard, we don't have a lot of property, and so we didn't really want to have a kind of messy looking coop, although chickens are messy, but we didn't want our entire yard to be a chicken coop. We wanted them to be able to free roam, but we wanted the coop to be kind of in the corner and for it to look nice. So we really like this coop because it's very cute and small and simple. Another thing I like about this coop is that it's very easy to clean. With it being so small, I can just reach in there. I clean it actually every day, as opposed to some people, if they have a really big chicken coop and a bunch of chickens, cleaning it every day, scooping out the poop isn't something that they want to do every single day. But for me, it's really easy to clean this every single day with just a couple of chickens, and everything's within reach. And even if we do a deep clean, like in the winter or summertime when I change out the bedding and we do kind of a deeper clean, it's still all very easy to do. I can do it in under an hour. The next thing is that it has nice airflow and ventilation. So like I talked about, you really want to make sure that your coop has good airflow. You don't want your chickens to be breathing up dust, or if there's any moisture in the coop, you could have a mold problem. So you definitely want good airflow and ventilation, and this coop has that. So it has the ventilation up at the top, it's got the chicken wiring, and we have found it working really well over the past year. It's seen snowstorm, rainstorm, thunderstorm, it's seen all the elements multiple times, and I haven't seen a single wear and tear yet. Okay, so downsides to this kind of chicken coop, there really aren't any other than the fact that it can only hold a few chickens, which is why we liked it in the first place. So if you have a really big flock, you are going to want a bigger run. The other thing is it doesn't come with a run. So if you don't know and you're new to chicken keeping like we were, you do need a run, enclosed run for your chickens, unless you just want to let them in your backyard all the time. We don't want to do that specifically because we have times when we do want to leave, but we want them to be safe. You're gonna have to build a run, which was really easy to do off the side door that this coop has, kind of in the back on the side. You can either keep that door closed or you can open it and create a run, and that's what we did. We kind of chose to use that section as another door and another place for them to go if they need to, although we actually just let them in the backyard all day anyway, so I don't use it often. But for example, in the snowstorm we had, everything was covered in snow, and chickens don't really like to walk on snow, so they just spent all their time in the run, and we have a little roof on it, so they were really happy in there, and they didn't go anywhere. And if we didn't have that, they would have had to have stayed in the coop just 24/7, and that's just icky, and they get really sick of each other, and so it's good to have a little bit more space when needed. Another downside, and this isn't really a downside, but the ventilation, like I said, is really good, and the window that's in the front does let a lot of cool air in, which in the wintertime I was a little worried about the chickens getting cold. But first of all, chickens can handle very cold temperatures, and they really don't need a warming source or any kind of heat added. In fact, it's really dangerous to do that in the coop. So I knew that they were fine, but I still kind of felt like I wanted to give them a little bit more warmth. So I just added some really simple cloth curtains, and that just helped because if it was really windy or breezy, that way it wasn't like coming right in their face. So I just did that for myself, but I wouldn't have made any changes to the plans because in the summertime you really need that window. So plans are fine, but I would suggest adding a little curtain in the wintertime if you are feeling like it's really cold. Okay, so that's about it. That's how we built this chicken coop. It took us about 2 weekends, and that was because we were working Monday through Friday, so we only had the 2 days. So I'd say if you had a little bit more time, you could do it in a week or so. We had my dad's help as well. It was a really fun first project, and we have since then done a lot more woodworking, so I think we would have done it faster at this point, but a beginner can totally do this. Also, head over to the blog post. I talk more about what I put in the coop and a few other tips for if you're just getting started with some backyard chickens. Hope you enjoyed this video and that it allows you to build a nice little cute home for your backyard ladies. If you're new to my page, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook. Every week I post new farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living from our homestead here in Duvall. Thank you so much for stopping by.